From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.
Once again, it's all good, people. Another episode of the ATL Outlet, little ATL therapy for your soul. Got ATPB in the building. C still on the IR. He due to come out that IR list with about, 7 to 10 days.
Hopefully.
Whenever the commissioner let him off. But he'll be back. So you just got your two fellas here, checking in again. Good to be back. We'll start off with what's good, PB.
What's good, man? What's good is Kamala Harris accepting the VP nomination last night. It was a historical moment, man. It was interesting to hear when he first announced that he was selecting her, all of the talk, about her being selected. But, man, seeing her on that stage last night and hearing her accept the nomination it was powerful, man. It really was. At least for me, it was. I'm glad I caught it. I know some people caught it later, but it was great to see, man. That's what's good. I don't know. Last time we did this, me and you went and played some more golf. Beat that boy AT. Hey, can somebody say again? Hey, so being out there on them 18 holes and beating AT, that's always good. He's salty. The audience, if y'all can see his face right now, but that's that look of what that we call sickness. Hey, bro, when last time you won, bro? It's been a minute, ain't it?
I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay. So yeah, beating Anna in golf is good. Kamala Harris is good. Seeing that boy Melo play the way he playing, man, is good. And, which we'll get into, but seeing that president of Toronto Raptors, the video coming out and addressing what he was already trying to say happened. We'll get into it, but I'm glad that the footage supported, everything that he stated. That's good. And probably some other things, man, but the fam's doing good. Again, as we always say, just blessed to be on this ATL outlet one more again. Chopping it up with my boy AT, man. That's what's good. What's up with you, bro?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Always good to be able to fellowship with family, especially COVID-19, man. You got family members hospitalized or leaving Earth left and right. So real good to be able to pick up the phone and still call on family members. They answer, so we're happy about that. Definitely, and I want to make sure that, I don't know, on the last episode, I know we were going back and forth over the name, but it is Kamala Harris. Definitely shouts out to her for accepting that nomination for vice presidency candidacy for the Democratic Party. And that's going to be pretty exciting. Thought the Democrats did a nice job in their convention over the last 3 days. So we'll see what kind of momentum that carries over into November, which is, that's when you have to walk the walk. NBA basketball has been on fire, in my opinion. The bubble idea kind of has a March Madness feel with the early games going on, kind of neutral floor. It's been really exciting. Really exciting. You got different storylines. I love the fact that the 8 seed, look like they might really have a shot at beating the 1 and all the parity that goes with that. So hopefully they carry some of these rules over into the regular season when we get back to normal. Maybe not a bubble per se, but the idea of playing some of those early games, I think it'd be pretty cool. Gives you that NCAA feeling. That's pretty much what's good. Glad to be back on the scene right here as we chop it up. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the gumbo. You know how it goes, man. We throw everything a little in the pot, stir it up, see how it tastes. We'll jump first with the Democratic National Convention. Paul, we talked earlier, and you were really touched by everything that went on. So give you some time to speak on it.
Yeah, man. I was a little disappointed, man, and our people. Well, again, I don't want to say that too broadly, but there were a few folks that I reached out to try to chop it up to see what they thought about Kamala's acceptance speech. And everybody that I spoke to, at least, had a reason, and I'm not here judging why they didn't catch it live or it wasn't important enough to catch live. And I just personally felt like, man, like it was a historical moment. Everything that's been going on from George Floyd to the protests, particularly here in the A, Rayshard Brooks. The list goes on, and I just had this impression, right? I can't substantiate it too tough beyond the sample size that I queried, but it was too late, or, oh man, I forgot, or, oh man, I knew that she already accepted it, so I didn't have to watch it live, or it was some reason. And for me, it just kind of hit home, man. It's just like, this is the first Black female to be on a presidential ticket in the history of this country. And I felt it important to catch it live, to see that history take place, not on a recording. And I guess I went into it thinking that there were going to be the vast majority of our people that felt the same way. So, I'm not judging, but it did come to a surprise to me. Again, I don't have kids, but I would think that was one of the moments where, like I can remember where I was when Obama, accepted his, and, when he was in Chicago and found out he won. Like, I can remember those moments, man, that will be forever stitched into my brain as just really historical moments. And I felt that this was one as well, yet for some reason, I get the feeling that our community didn't feel the same way about this. And that was a little disappointing for me, bro. Because I think, for a female, right, doing it, that they deserve as much support as we, Kamala deserved as much support as we gave Barack, in my opinion. And I guess the sentiment that I'm feeling right now is that she's not getting the same amount as we gave Barack. Everybody questioning her, and I know that there's some different circumstances to it all, but at the end of the day, and what we say, what did Lou Ivy teach us back in college, man, like, and what is this president of the Toronto Raptors recognize, that no matter his success, no matter what, badge he had on, none of that, this cop treated him the same way as a no-name person, all because he was Black. And that's how they're going to view her. And for me, it's like she deserved, again, the same amount of support, love, turnout as Barack, garnered back in the day. So I thought she did a phenomenal job. And, for someone who I think already has this position of it's going to be tough for the Democrats to win, I was extremely encouraged to see her, the comments that she made, and ready to, I'll probably get my absentee ballot in, next week, bro. Like, I'm ready to go, if not tomorrow. So I just for those out there, man, I would just encourage you, like, let's support Kamala the same way we did Barack, and if and maybe even more, right? That's where I'm at, bro. What'd you think about it?
I was one of the ones who did not watch it live. I watched it after the fact, and I think that in all honesty, man, like I don't look at it the same way you do, as far as people not really supporting Kamala and her quest to be vice president of the United States. I think that it is just as important. I think women in particular are really finding common ground with Kamala Harris and the history that is being made. I think what you're failing to realize is that, this is, it has been 12 years since Barack Obama was elected president the first time. And we are literally in a Netflix society. Like, I don't know, other than sport, I don't know if many people watch TV live anymore. And I think that, it's kind of one of those things where I found it much easier to be able to watch it after the fact, because I could fast forward to, I was really just interested in the speeches anyway, and I didn't have to look at anything else. So I could pick and choose what I wanted to watch from the actual convention. And then, the whole COVID-19 makes it a little bit different too, because it really wasn't a true convention in that, you're used to seeing the delegates there, and it's like almost like a pep rally, so to speak. And it lost that luster because it was virtual. Now, I'm not saying that's a stain on her candidacy, but I mean, it is what it is. It just wasn't the same. And it seemed different. Another reason I think it seems different is that, the presidency is considered the most powerful position in the land. And so, maybe to our fault, maybe some people say, we've been there, done that as far as the presidency is concerned. We're excited about Kamala. We think she's going to do a great job, but it's not the president. And that might not be the right thing to say or think at this time. But if we're honest with ourselves, I think that's kind of what happens. If you think about it in connection with with voting, we will all vote or die when Barack Obama was running for president. And then when his terms were up, we were kind of like, let's go back to our normal way of voting, which again is not right. But I think there's some of that in why you feel that there wasn't much viewership in the convention. At the same time, I don't know what the numbers are. The ratings may have been sky high. I know, unfortunately, it was pitted against the NBA playoffs because of the bubble. It is pitted against MLB baseball, which is now because of the shortened season, closer to a pennant race than it normally would be at this time. So there are a lot of competing factors, unfortunately, that happened at this time, and priorities are what they are. And some people are going to prioritize watching live sports because they know they can go back and just watch the convention online. But I say all that to say, it does not take away from the importance of the issue, from the possibilities that she presents as a running mate to Joe Biden. I think the Democrats are 100% behind this tandem in hopes of trying to flip the script on the Donald Trump regime. So, we'll see how it works. We'll jump right next to, you brought it up earlier.
Before we do that, because that's what we do, I'm just calling a little BS on the, I could just have watched it later. Well, guess what? You could have, recorded live basketball too, but you ain't gonna miss a basketball game that you want to see of LeBron playing, right? And so to
Not
me, at the end of the day, it's about what you want it to do. Right. At the end of the day, it boils down to what you want it to do. And, you can argue, it came up against the NBA or the MLB, or it's a Netflix, world, or maybe it was virtual. I get all of that. Yep. All I'm saying was this was the first time that a Black woman stood up to accept a vice presidential nomination on a presidential ticket. And to me, that, for our community, bro, I'll just say this, was something that I did not want to miss.
Right.
And, unfortunately for me, or just as I was disappointed, that I would have thought that many others who I've spoken to your point, who knows how many people did watch it, you know what I mean? And I won't speak to that, but for the, handful of folks that I contacted and was excited to pick up the phone and be like, Shawty, you just seen Kamala? They're like, oh man, I missed that, or I was busy working, or, I'll watch it tomorrow, or whatever. And I don't know, it just sat on my spirit, bro, for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, hey, can't tell you how to feel, bro.
Right. I feel you.
And we move forward to the issue with the Toronto Raptors. I want to make sure I get his name right as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Masai Ujiri, president.
Say that again.
Masai Ujiri. Did I say it right?
I don't know. I just wanted to make you have to say it again.
Yeah. Masai Ujiri. So after the Raptors won the NBA title last year against the Golden State Warriors, there was a confrontation between Ujiri and sheriff deputies from I think is it Alameda County? Yeah, Alameda County in Oakland, where the county sheriff ended up suing Ujiri, saying that it was a physical confrontation that he incited. And so recently, there's been some camera footage that has come out that has shown a very different story, and it's shown, in fact, that the sheriff deputies were the one who initiated the contact and shoving Ujiri twice before he even responded. Ujiri recently came out with a statement and where he insinuates that this was basically because he was a black man. And it just goes to show you that if he is even as successful as he is as a team president, as an NBA stalwart, he was still treated as if he was a second-class citizen in that case. And that goes to the issues that we have been talking about recently as far as social injustice. So interested to get your take, PB, at another instance where it seems like race has played a part in a relationship between people.
Yeah, man, it was just disappointing, bruh. I think after I watched the video, read his statement this evening, I think I sent you a text, bro, and it was like, when is it gonna stop? Because I think maybe it was that followed by, you saw the female in Gwinnett County that just got tasered on her own front porch by some cop. And it just, it's like, sadly, bro, you wake up every day waiting for the next shoe to drop. You know what I mean? Like, what's the next event that's going to happen where, this type of situation occurs? And it was interesting. What's the ESPN anchor who used to do radio? What's her name?
Elle Duncan.
Yeah, she was on some ESPN show today and kind of ran down her thoughts, which I thought she articulated very well. But at the end of the day, man, you look at someone with his success, how long he's been up through his NBA journey, being the president of the organization, which means ain't no telling how many times he's been down on that, court, in those hallways, whatever the case may be. And despite all of that, he gets treated that way on the night that his organization wins the world championship. It was like irony at its best, bro. It's like, come on. And at the end of the day, it was like, no matter, what job you have, how much money in the bank, how expensive your suit, none of that, what tag you got around your neck, none of that, bro, mattered. Right. All it mattered was he was black. And right. It just, it's exhausting, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when is it gonna stop? Like, when can we wake up one day and that not be, the front page of the news?
One thing that's sad about it, man, is like I always find myself taking my mind back to that point of interaction and just say, like, why? If I could just get into that person's mind, like, why did he feel the need at that point to shove Jerry, right? So
twice.
It's like, is there no other training available that says, hey, I need you to stop, or it should be a way to question someone who's approaching the floor without immediately just shoving them from the video that I saw. And one thing I always want to make sure I'm careful about, and which is why I haven't said much about the whole Gwinnett County incident, is I want to hear everything before it goes down. And I think that this video kind of gives us the other side.
You're right.
It gives us the whole story. So now I see what the sheriff's office has claimed. And now I see the fact that from my own eyes, I see that Jerry really didn't come in a menacing manner. I think he was direct. He knew where he was going, and he was out of nowhere. He's being shoved, and I'm like, why? You know, like, and you hate to go as a black man, especially you hate to say, oh, because I'm black, but I don't see any other reason why that happened other than the fact that he was black. I mean, he was dressed, he was impeccably dressed, right? He did not look like he was out to hurt or injure anyone. You know, it's not like he had a pistol, not like he had a knife on him. Yet he was still shoved. And it's like, wow, like really? You know what I'm saying?
Beyond that, bro, like not only did it occur, but then nobody believed his side of the story.
Right.
That was the other aspect of it. It was like, despite all that happened, then he says, nah, dude pushed me. And what happened? Everybody believed the cop.
Right. And Jerry said in his statement later on that, you know, he's lucky that he has as many resources as he has, that he can, you know, fight this. But how many cases are just like this where the victim, you know, can't fight it and can't defend himself and ends up going down for something when it totally happened a different way.
Right.
And you know what?
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
One thing about the situation, man, is I truly feel like if that person had enough courage to do that in front of those thousands of people, I just have this eerie feeling that he or she, I think it's a he, but he's been doing this for a while or has done it before. So now
when you pull somebody over and ain't nobody watching, how far does he go?
Correct. And my next question is, all right, so what about the supervisors? Like what is the training and what kind of consequences were levied before, or, you know, how do we get to this point? You know, this couldn't have been the first time. It just seemed too natural, you know, and I just question that. And that's some of the information that I would love to see, I'm sure, to come out in court documents and things of that nature, as far as the history, as far as the disciplinary record of this individual. But, you know, that's not the way you treat people, period.
But bro, that's my issue with the Gwinnett thing, because I admire that part about you, right? That you aren't quick to come to a conclusion. You aren't quick to you know, share an opinion without gathering all the facts, right? You do that very well. But my issue is with Gwinnett was, to your point, was there no other way to diffuse the situation? Could you not have called somebody else and you're like, look, she's not going to listen to me. I'm going to call somebody else and see if they can talk to her.
Well, I will say this.
Right. You going to take, like, she wasn't running. She wasn't leaving. She wasn't fleeing the scene.
I'm going to say this. What I'm thankful for is that he didn't shoot her with a gun.
Agreed. But think about that. That's what you have to be thankful for, though, AT?
Because we've seen that. Now,
that's sick. If you stand on your own front porch and somebody has to say, I'm thankful that he didn't shoot her.
Right. I'm thankful because we've seen that. Yeah, that's where we are. And that's unfortunate. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. And I'm not insinuating anything. I'm not trying to, but this is why I don't say anything until I hear what I feel are all the facts. I really don't know why that officer was there. Right. I would like to know more about why the officer was there. If we were to take the characters off of this play and put it just, you know, character A and character B, and I told you that the officer arrived because character B was a wanted felon or murderer, like, I think your opinions about the video would change.
I don't know, bro, because she never grabbed a weapon. She never said, I'm going to run. Or all she said was, I'm not going anywhere. And to me, if she's not going anywhere, then that person doesn't represent a danger to anyone else other than that's on that patio, right? She's not pulled a weapon. She's not brandished a weapon. Nothing is showing that I'm in fear or I should be in any type of danger because of this individual.
Yeah.
Right? So for those two reasons, if I'm not in danger, right, and this person isn't fleeing, and what's being communicated is purely, I'm not going anywhere, I would think that there's a better way to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
an alternate way to handle it,
I think
other than it escalating to the point where you tase this individual.
right. I think that's where police reform is needed, and that's where we're headed, is to find an alternative to, I guess physical violence or whatever the case may be. But again,
and maybe it will escalate to that at some other point. But bro, they you see the plan. They'll roll up 3-4 cars deep for a traffic ticket.
Yeah, true.
So you couldn't call another, a couple of cops to come up and be like, hey man, she ain't going nowhere. She ain't hurt nobody, but she ain't gonna listen to me. AT, why don't you try and see if you can de-escalate this situation and get her to come on down to the station?
True.
Right? That's all I'm saying. Other than, you going right now, and if you don't, next thing you know, buzz. Like, I got issue with that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think 99.999% of the people will have an issue with it. I have an issue with it. Yeah. But if you ask me, give you an opinion about it, I need to know more.
I get you.
I need to know more. I need to know what the scene looks like, because I've talked with officers before, and a lot of times if there's a threat like around them, like a large crowd, they would try to like kind of contain, like, basically, I'm going to put cuffs on you to make sure that you're good. Let me check out everybody else. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm just saying I would love to see what was going on, why they were there, and why he
info. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that.
To arrest her even in the first place.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that he tased. I felt like that's something he could have done something differently, but I would need to know more. Either way, it's a sad story. It's a continuation of what's been happening in the news regarding particularly people of color as it relates to law enforcement. And I'm sure this won't be the last that we've heard of it. And Gwinnett County is having to answer for it as we speak. They came out with a statement this evening saying that they are investigating the situation. The one good thing about social media is that these things are blown up to a point where these police organizations or these authoritative organizations have to look internally at their procedures, which is good, and which is another reason that November is so important. Because these people who are making laws and enforcing laws, that's the time when we can get those people to be held accountable. So we'll see where that leads us.
Let me jump in then on the next topic. AT, you go first. What do you think about this concept of cancel culture, which will lead to the next point? What's your take on cancel culture, especially your environment? Yeah. I mean, because I think it could be pervasive all the way, from celebrities and famous individuals, probably down to, some form of bullying, right? Amongst kids.
That's what it is. Cancel culture is bullying, and we have normalized it, and we've okayed it, and it's part of the wave. I'm always.
Is it? Can cancel culture be bullying, or is that all it is? Because I could see it being bullying for sure, but I could also see it existing without it being bullying.
I think that, so let's take any incident for where there's an offensive statement that's made. I think that you have the idea of bringing awareness to it, saying that this happened. Right, I want everybody to know this happened, and I think that's bringing awareness to it with the hopes that there's something done about it, maybe from the person's employer or whatever the case may be. But when you get in a situation where people are having their address posted and they're just completely bombarded with offensive language or hate mail, that's bullying. Yeah. Right? I mean, but if you're cool with that, you're cool with that. But just understand that when you turn around and say, we shouldn't bully people, that's in essence what it is. I mean, even if that person is completely wrong, right? There's still a level of atonement if that person wants to make an atonement for it, that, there should be the opportunity. But especially social media just won't let you live it down. That's part of the perils of social media. That's why you teach young people from an early age. Is like, what you do on social media, man, is going to be there. So if you make a mistake, or you say something that you don't necessarily mean to say, it doesn't land appropriately, like that could come back, because unfortunately we do have this cancel culture out here that's ready to hop on it. Some people look at it as accountability, right? I just don't I don't have that take on the cancel culture. I need you to make it, make people aware. But at some point you're just piling on, man.
So take that comment and share with me your feedback on this situation with the Cincinnati Reds, and I think it's Tom Brenneman.
Right.
For background for audience, this is a broadcaster, play-by-play announcer for the Cincinnati Reds. As I understand it, he made an off-mic disaster by making a homophobic slur, yet the mic was still on.
Right.
So it was broadcast nationally. Apparently, he was notified that happened while he was still on air. He then attempted to, in his mind, apologize for the statement that he made, and in doing so, was actually pulled from the live broadcast booth during mid-broadcast and replaced. And since then, there have been a wide range of communications on social media, effectively, looking to quote unquote cancel him.
Right.
Thus, this concept around cancel culture, in this case, specifically to what this individual has done. So, speak on that, AT.
Well, he clearly not working for the Reds anymore.
He's only been suspended.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, he's not working for the Reds. I think that, Fox is given the due diligence to look through it and investigating it and X, Y, and Z. So let's say he's fired or whatever. What else?
Do you think it's right for people to go on social media and call for him to be canceled?
I mean, I think that's within anyone's right to do. Absolutely. I mean, you can say whatever you want to say. Do I think it is necessary? I mean, if he's suspended, and is it necessary? Let me see.
And as you think about that a moment ago, you said at some point though you think it's just piling on.
I think it's piling on. Yeah, I think it is piling on. I mean, I think he is. With the way the world works now, like, it's clear that if somebody says something like that, man, they're probably going to get fired, right? And we know that. Now, if that doesn't happen and you have something to say about it, then cool. But what else do you want? I mean, you want a man to give you his blood? I mean, he messed up. He got caught. I felt like he immediately came back and apologized. I don't know if somebody made him apologize, but he did.
What'd you think of the apology? Because that was a whole big thing too. People were basically sharing their opinions on his apology.
True. I mean, but people are going to do that, is what I'm saying. Like, that's part of it. Like,
what'd you think of the apology?
I felt like it was genuine. I felt like he got caught. And I don't think he'll do it again. I think he wants to have another opportunity to be on the mic, and I don't know if that's going to happen. But my question is, like, what else do you want? What else, as a council culture, what else do you want? You want people to show up at his house? I mean,
so do you think he should be fired?
Life is completely changed right now. Like, it's completely changed.
Would you fire him if you were Fox Sports?
Would I fire him if I was Fox Sports? That's a great question. And I think that's something that I would have to literally be in that position and have had it depends on what my track record was at Fox. Like, if this is a guy who had like a great history, a guy who has done a lot for organizations, and there was a lot there to say, hey, this is not him. I'm more than likely to give him a chance, maybe an extended suspension. Otherwise,
not cut and dry. He said that you fired.
No, I mean, I don't think so. No, I'm going to give him, if he's been working for the Reds for a long time, And that will show me that he's been doing a lot of things right. Marv Albert is one of the biggest NBA sportscasters, you know, in on TV, and he's made mistakes. Greg Anthony's made mistakes. Michael Irvin's made mistakes. You know, all these guys have made mistakes, and they weren't canceled. So, you know, I would weigh the pros and cons. You know, what does it do for the industry? What the disciplinary history has been. You know, if he comes out and says, you know, I'm gonna make sure I work with the LGBTQ community to atone for this, then that's another thing that can happen and make things right. It's a number of issues. I can't say right now that I would fire him just flat out. Yeah. And I'm not gonna let cancel culture determine that either. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. Look, I think it's crazy. You know, I've never been a huge social media advocate to begin with for these types of reasons, right? I mean, I think. Yes, I mean, you've highlighted several reasons where, you know, there's a positive, there are pros to social media. But the whole cancel culture, I think, is part of, clearly, definitely one of the cons, right? Everybody got an opinion. Mm-hmm. And no matter how volatile that might be, no matter how negative it may be, no matter how inaccurate it may be, no matter how dangerous it may be.
Right.
There's no filter on that piece, which I find it, you know, which is definitely a challenge for me. But I do think this concept of cancel culture is what we're living in, mm-hmm. particularly now, mm-hmm. right? There are literally things you better not say. Mm-hmm. Few can get away with it, mm-hmm. right? And it's usually those probably comedians, you know, like Dave Chappelle can go, even especially now, much further and making maybe what may be viewed as some inappropriate comments more than Kevin Hart can right now. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's interesting how our society picks and chooses who can say what Absolutely. And who can't say what.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like Oprah right now might be say something inappropriate, but Ellen DeGeneres might want to just keep her mouth closed right now. You feel me? And so it's interesting, that dynamic. But it absolutely is a cancel culture, yep. You know. But this situation with this
part of the cancel culture, right? Because you're not being checked. Ain't nobody trying to cancel you. Right. Nobody trying to really, you know. It'd be funny if these celebrities start researching like ordinary everyday citizens, like. Oh, this is what you got to say about me? Well, let me put on blast, because my platform is so much bigger. Let me put on blast that your wife left you and why she left you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be real crazy if that were to happen. Right. But it's easy because you're a keyboard tough guy at that point, right? You just kind of piling on, just telling people how they should live their life. And that's another thing, man. It's like you got so many experts about what you should do and how you should do it. And they're just sitting at home and they're just watching the celeb's life. And I guess that's what we do on the outlet, though. You know what I'm saying?
But what do you think about the concept around, though, like, particularly if you think about it from a celebrity standpoint? You know, I've always heard, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, that comes with the territory. That's why you make the money you make. You know what I mean? Like, you're already cast into this limelight.
You are.
To be subject to this type of experience.
Right.
But, you know, Patrick Mahomes, you deal with it. You're making $500 million over the next 10 years.
That's true.
Right? It's like, oh, yeah, you come at me. If I can make $500 million, come at me all day long. You know what I'm saying? So is there some level of acceptance by society to be able to target celebrities because of the perceived celebrity, financial status, you know, whatever the case may be that comes along with it?
I think you have people who feel they have the authority to, I guess, say what they want to say or discredit a celebrity. Oftentimes they'll say things like, well, I pay your salary because I come to the games or whatnot. But I think that the difference now is, and I was talking about this, I was having this conversation the other day, being in the limelight with social media and like Twitter, Instagram, and those social platforms is much different than it was, let's say, you know, late 90s when mainstream media controlled everything, right? And so really then I would say athletes had to worry about what the local beat writer was saying about their personal life, social life, whatever the thing, wherever it may be, because your ordinary citizen didn't really have access or a platform to speak.
Right.
But now
everybody's the media now.
Yeah, now you have mainstream media, then you have all the social media people who can just chime in. You can literally at the player, like, at LeBron James, like, LeBron, I'm saying this about you. And that makes that fishbowl even bigger. You know what I mean? That's the difference. So sometimes, man, I really feel bad for celebs, man, because it's just, I'm sure it's mentally taxing to have your entire life under scrutiny. Now, you are making a whole lot of money, but and they're also millionaires who you've never heard of in your life, and they're probably just loving it, right? So to be a celebrity millionaire, that's like, man, like to have your whole life, can't go to the mall, you can't go to a bowling alley, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but again, does that part of what comes with it? Like, to be in that financial situation, you have to sacrifice some of the things that you wouldn't have to deal with if you weren't.
Yeah, but that's like being a CEO of a company or whatever the case may be, or a manager on a job. Like, you don't have the leeway to do and say the same thing that an entry level worker would say. Like, to whom much is given, much is expected, right? So,
like, and we always had that conversation about, when Barack was in office, right, like things that Barack can and cannot say because of the role that he plays in this country.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've been kind of heavy, man. So let me move on, man. I want to talk about the bubble, because this man, well, these men, Dame Dollar,
you saw I just looked at my watch. You couldn't
and Luka Doncic.
I'm telling you,
bro. Those two boys there have been completely hooping in the bubble. I think that these two guys will probably be, the face of the league here, or one of the faces of the league here over the next, 5 to 8 years, especially Luka, who is still, is Luka even 21 yet? He may just be 21.
He turned 21, I think.
But his skills.
Wish the Hawks had got him, bro.
Huh?
Wish the Hawks had got him.
I'm going to say something about that too.
He's
putting up Kareem type playoff numbers. Like, it's just the league right now is on fire. Every day I look forward to watching it. It's so competitive. Guys are really taking this thing seriously, and I'm excited. Now, to your point about the Hawks, all right, let me just say this: Luka is seems to be a generational talent. Okay, and I hate when people do this, because they do this with LeBron and these guys all the time. The Hawks did not. The Hawks drafted Luka and traded him for Trae Young. Right? That does not mean that Trae Young is not a good basketball player. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that.
Never said he wasn't.
I'm not saying that, and I'm not even in total agreement that the Hawks would have been better with Luka than they would have been with Trae Young. Luka's in a great situation. He's in a great situation. He's in a perfect situation. I don't think he would have necessarily thrived with such a young lineup with Atlanta. I don't think they had the pieces to fit Luka's ability. That's just my opinion.
So let me ask you this, because again, we just ran into this with you a couple weeks ago or something like that. At
what?
You put the best man on the floor. That's what you always say.
Is this going back to Trevor Lawrence?
Yes, just like the decision you were talking about, whatever we were talking about the other day. And you backed off of that conversation.
I didn't back off anything.
Yes, you did, bro. Yes, you did. We can go back and run it.
Go back. Go back. You got a computer? Roll it back.
Yeah, we can go back and watch it. But if it's all about, in your mind, what Anthony Thomas usually says, you have to put the best player on the court. Right. You're telling me that you don't think that Luka, regardless of what's around him, and not saying that Trae Young isn't a great player, But you're telling me that you think that Luka isn't a better player.
Right now, Luka's a better player. Period.
So, all right, end the discussion then.
There's not any discussion because I also think that Trey could be Steph Curry.
Could
be put in the right situation.
Okay.
So quite frankly, neither one of them have won a title. So Luka's a better talent right now, but that's not to say that Trey couldn't have the better career. There's so many moving parts that come with that. I just don't want anybody to. I just don't want people to just automatically say, well, because Luka's having a great year, he's having a great playoffs, that the Hawks were just completely idiotic. Like, they still have a talent. They have a game-changing talent as well.
Not to the same level as Luka.
Huh?
Not to the same level as Luka. Because beyond Luka having a good season or a good playoffs, I think what he's consistently shown is that he's a better player than Trae Young. That's not saying that Trae Young isn't. I'm
not saying Luka's not the better player.
Okay, so my point is the Hawks didn't have nothing.
Excuse me?
The Hawks were still rebuilding.
Correct. And
so if you rebuilding,
go not rebuilding.
But still, if you rebuilding, don't you go get the best player that you can?
Not if it doesn't fit your philosophy in the pieces.
Man, okay. Well, we'll see how this plays out.
You don't automatically just go get the best player in that situation.
All right.
Kevin Durant was drafted second.
Michael Jordan wasn't the first draft pick.
Exactly. That's my point.
They probably wish they had drafted him.
No, not the Rockets. They drafted Akeem Olajuwon and got 2 championships out of it.
Long term, bro.
You said long term?
Yes.
That's my whole point. Long term.
Okay. Well, again, time will tell.
He's an amazing talent. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. But nobody was expecting the Hawks to go to the playoffs with that roster they had.
Man, did they win?
Said what?
Did they win?
Who?
The Hawks.
No.
Exactly.
They wanted. They knew they weren't going to win this year.
You think they're going to win next year?
Possibly.
All right. You barely could even say that.
I don't know what moves they're going to make.
Oh, here you go. I need some more information. Yeah. What's up?
Luka playing with Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay. All right, bro.
If he has a Hawks roster, he's gonna be a great player, not in the playoffs. Just like Trae Young.
He still would have been a better player, not in the playoffs. Not like Trae Young. But that's your opinion.
Yep. Definitely. All right, man, we're gonna take a break though.
Man, we need a break, or we just gonna go and jump into
We're gonna take a break. It's the outlet.
From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.
Once again, it's on. Your boy Paul B done brought us back. You seen it? Hey, that boy Ant be trying to facilitate everything, but not this time. Hey, we back from the break since he had to go get him some water. Whatever. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this session of the ATL Outlet. You know what it is. Plug us in 20. Hey, so we're about to go into our last couple of sections here. You know what it is. Yes, sir. No, sir. And then we're going to either let it breathe or turn up. So now that we back on, AT, go and take this through, brother.
Oh, now you don't let me go?
Yeah, I'm going to let you go. Hey, got to change things up sometimes. Y'all know how it is.
All right, man, we're going to jump in our first yes, sir, no, sir. We're talking about the NBA and how it's eerily similar to March Madness with the early game time. So we'll make a quick NBA finals. I'm saying NBA playoffs over March Madness. Yes, sir, no, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. Hey man, that March Madness be crazy, bro. And I don't know, and it's just got a different energy. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. I think in the NBA, it's probably a little bit more predictable. But bro, that NCAA, anything can happen, bro. That's what I love about it. You know, big upsets, crazy stuff going on. Energy just be packed, you know what I mean? So I'm going NCAA. I'm a college over pro fan anyway. So no sir.
Man, it's so tough for me, man, because so here's my thought process. For me, March Madness is really fun on the first day because you're expecting that big upset. And obviously the Final Four and the championship are good. Everything else in between is kind of like, man. The NBA playoffs are when they start, it's it's kind of man. But when they go to the conference finals, man, of 40 games and 40 nights, TNT, you got Chuck, the Jet, you got Shaq. Hey, I got to go to NBA playoffs. I'm gonna say yes, sir. NBA over March Madness. Second one, yes, sir, no, sir. Real simple since we on basketball. Sometimes I drink Gatorade over Powerade. Gatorade over Powerade. Yes, sir, no, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna go with that Gatorade, man. It's just some. I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up on it, and then Powerade tried to come on in and slide on in the door. Now I ain't gonna, not drink no Powerade. Hey, if I got that thirsty jaw, that juicy jaw, it got to take care of it. But I'm gonna go. If I just gotta pick it, I'm gonna take Gatorade all day, man. Loyalty, baby.
Yeah, I agree, man. I gotta go Gatorade. Yes, sir. Gatorade over Powerade. You give me that either that lemon lime junk or that orange. Boy, let me tell you. That thing, that's fire. I do it hot, frozen, cool. I don't care. Like Gatorade over Powerade.
Hey, a serious one though. We're gonna jump in. The authorities do arrest the cops that shot Breonna Taylor. Yes, sir, or no, sir.
Do they arrest them?
Do you think they end up arresting them?
Yes. Yes, sir.
You do?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Too much pressure. This is a case where I hear social media awareness, where the awareness is important. Like it's not necessarily bullying, but they're just making it known. Like continue to make it known. Like keep it hot. Keep it on the top shelf. Some say yes, they're arrested. Are they convicted and sentenced?
I
don't know.
I want to say yes, sir, but I'm just gonna go with no, sir, because so much time has passed, bro. It's like the cancel culture has been out there. I mean, you got LeBron literally wearing a "Make America Arrest the dudes that murdered Breonna Taylor," and nothing's. I mean, you don't even hear, Louisville DA or anybody saying anything about it, bro.
That's another one where I like.
Me.
That's another one where I like to see what information Louisville DA is working with and what does he have in front of him. What don't we know, right? Like you feel like something is missing because it seems open and shut.
I mean, Oprah put up billboards in Louisville and nothing has happened.
Yeah,
so it's like, bruh, I just don't see it happening there.
Yeah.
Shout out that they finally did arrest after 18 years. What's Run DMC DJ?
God, what you had to say that?
How else was I gonna say it, bro?
Jam Master J.
Yeah. After 18 years, cuz.
Yeah. 18 years.
Yeah.
We got Biggie and Tupac next.
Good thing for his family though, man. Hopefully that brings them some sense of peace.
Absolutely. Yes or no, sir? Since you won't let me argue Trae Young, Luka Doncic over Devin Booker. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, get the stuttering and backpedaling now.
I was about to give a caveat. I was about to give a caveat around like right now for the future, but I was like, then he ain't gonna start talking trash.
Yeah, because that's the same thing I was saying. You
no,
don't want to come over this way with that.
I'm going with Luka all day. Luka.
You don't care that book. They were undefeated in the bubble.
Don't care nothing about it. Look, he watching Luka play right now, ain't it? Ain't that what he doing? He at home watching.
I can't hate on Luka. I'm going with that boy Luka. That's a no, sir. Devin Booker. Would I say Luka over Devin?
Yeah, you said Luka over.
That's a yes, sir. I'm going with Luka over Devin Booker. We're gonna move on to Let It Breathe or Turn Up. What you got, PB?
I had one. I showed up, forgot it now. What was it, bro?
Man, here you go. I'm gonna give you a real simple one. You at the cookout, somebody go into the refrigerator and bring out a platter of deviled eggs. You letting it breathe or you turn up?
I'm turning up all day.
Got to know it, man.
Killing them.
Like deviled eggs, man.
Hey, bro, what you got to do? Go get them deviled eggs from Juicy Crab. Let it sit in one of them bags for a minute, bro.
Juicy Crab, we done plugged you on 2 different shows, man. You sponsorship.
Bro, them deviled eggs from Juicy Crab, man. Some of that garlic butter, one of them garlic butter bags, bro. Make you want to smack your mama. Ain't that right, Willie?
Yeah, you definitely got to agree with you on that. You got to turn up on them deviled eggs. You got your other one yet?
Nah, man. We might be done with it.
Well, I got one final one for everybody to agree on. The ATL outlet is on. Do you let it marinate or you turn up?
Hey, gotta turn up, bro.
Gotta turn up, man. That's it.
We got that consistency back.
Everybody should be in agreement with that, man. Had an awesome show, man. Again, ATPB here, C's on IR. I'll be back soon. But until next time, y'all take it easy. Another ATL outlet, little ATL therapy for your soul. Holla.
From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.